Hey everyone, welcome to the ranking, and here's my ranking of all of Curtis Hanson's movies. Yes, Curtis Hanson is, I guess, sort of an underrated director because he's a filmmaker not a lot of people talk about, and he's directed some great gems of movies. He's done a lot of stinkers, and that's why I'm going to rank all his movies. He has made 11 movies. Yes, I think he made a few independent straight-to-DVD movies when he first started out, but I'm only counting his big movies that went to theaters. These are the movies that all Curtis Hanson fans know of. So yeah, here's my ranking of all of Curtis Hanson's movies from my least favorite to my favorite. Alright, let's get started. Coming at number 11 is the movie Lucky You. Yes, Lucky You is like a gambling movie and stuff, and it's also a dramatic romance starring Drew Barrymore and Eric Bana. Two people I don't mind. Drew Barrymore is a good actress when she has the right material, and Eric Bana is a very talented actor, but this movie just doesn't work. Like, this movie isn't a compelling drama, and it doesn't show gambling in an interesting way. Like last year's Mississippi Grind with Ben Mendelsohn and Ryan Reynolds, they did that movie really well, and it showed the negativity of gambling addiction. This movie, I don't know what this movie was trying to do, and I don't know what Eric Bana and Drew Barrymore were thinking doing this movie. Every time I watch this movie, it doesn't even feel like a Curtis Hanson movie. It's got this really dry comedy, horribly executed drama, and two very bad performances by two very good actors. This is hands down the worst Curtis Hanson movie. Coming number 10 is Chasing Mavericks. Oh my god. Again, Gerard Butler. He's actually done a lot of bad movies, so it doesn't surprise me that he did a stupid Curtis Hanson surfing movie. This movie is not only poorly executed, poorly structured, but it's poorly directed and poorly written. Nothing about this movie is really good, and it's very forgettable, because I saw this movie when it came out. What did this movie go out? I think this movie came out in 2012, I'm gonna guess. I might be wrong, but yeah, it's forgettable. I barely remember anything that happened in this movie. I just remember hating it a lot. And yeah, because it's a terrible movie. Coming number 9 is Losing It. Yes, Losing It is an 80s movie starring Tom Cruise, and this is a very crude, very sexual comedy movie with a lot of drama in it too. This is during the time people love to see unique and crude teen comedies and stuff, and yeah, this was the great decade of Tom Cruise because he did like Risky Business and stuff, and a lot of people probably justify this movie as a good movie because Risky Business exists, but this movie is not Risky Business. This movie is no Outsiders or Risky Business or Breakfast Club. It is none of those movies. It is a very unfunny, poorly made movie. Tom Cruise is trying, but the movie just doesn't work. It falls flat, it's bland, it's uninteresting, it's boring and overly long, and it just had no meaning of existing, and I can't stand this movie. Come number 8 is The River Wild. The River Wild has got Meryl Streep and Kevin Bacon. And Kevin Bacon is very young in this movie. He plays a very psychological performance, and he is the reason why this movie is watchable. Like, this movie also has some pacing issues. It's even got some bad direction. Yes, I know I'm bashing Curtis Hanson because I am a Curtis Hanson fan and I'm bashing him right now, but when he does a bad movie, they're really bad, and they're very awkward, and they're just terrible. It's terrible watching them, and they're just unwatchable movies. They're not like so bad it's good, or bad but watchable. His bad movies, are unwatchable. But this movie is watchable, thanks to a pretty good cast. Yeah, Meryl Streep's in it too, and she's fine. But Kevin Bacon, I think he was even nominated. He might have been nominated. I don't know if it was a Golden Globe or an Oscar, but he was great in this movie, Kevin Bacon. A very psychological performance, and a character that is the more interesting character. You do kind of feel sympathy for the character, and you're kind of rooting for the character. I don't know if you should be rooting for the character, but you kind of do, because Kevin Bacon just plays him so well. He's the reason why The River Wild is watchable. Come number 7 is Bad Influence. Bad Influence, again, is actually a good movie, but just like Chasing Mavericks, it's a forgettable movie. James Spader's in this movie with Rob Lowe. They're both very good in this movie. This movie is dark, and it does have quite a few unlikable characters in it. And the story is well done, and it's actually a well-directed movie, so good job, Curtis Hanson. It's just so forgettable. It's boring, yes, but it's just forgettable. It's good, but forgettable. Coming number 6 is The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. This is a damn good movie. I remember watching this movie on TV like years ago, and I remember loving the movie. After multiple watches, I started noticing there's some plot holes with the movie, but still, all in all, it's a good movie. Julianne Moore has a small role in the movie, and she's very good. I forget who plays the crazy bitch. I'll put her name up there, but yeah, she is fucking amazing in this movie. Ernie Hudson's also in it, and he is so solid in this movie. Basically, the point of this movie, the message of this movie is, don't always trust your nannies because they can be psychologically fucked up. This girl's fucked up. Yes, don't screw with that girl's husband. Oh, God, yeah. This movie is a very dark and pretty atmospheric psychological thriller, and it's very entertaining to watch. The performances are really good, and it is very thrilling. It's not a scary movie, but it's a very thrilling movie, and a bit disturbing at times, but it just works. The Hand That Rocked the Cradle, check it out if you've not seen it. Coming number 5 is Wonder Boys. Yes, Wonder Boys stars Robert Downey Jr., Tobey Maguire, Katie Holmes, Michael Douglas, Frances McDermott. And again, this movie I just watched actually a few days ago because I had to watch a few Curtis Hanson movies I haven't seen before. This was one of them. This is a very funny, dark comedy, actually. The comedy in this movie does hit. Yeah, this is basically the story of this movie. It takes place within like 2 days and stuff, and basically it's just a bunch of little things that keep happening, and they start getting into big things. It starts off with him going to a party and one of his students there, and then he steals a jacket. He kills the dog. Then he finds out more about the student, and he's homeless, but he's also a very talented writer. And his publicist wants to publish his book, but then he gets jealous. But he doesn't matter because he's in love with a woman who's also with another man and stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of things. And he also lives with another student who has a crush on him. He's dealing with a divorce also. This is all Michael Douglas's character. So yeah, there's a lot of things happening in this movie, and it is very well executed, and Curtis Hanson's direction is very well done, and the writing is really good, and the performances by the entire cast, I named the cast, they're all really good, and it is a dark comedy. If you like dark comedies, then this movie is definitely for you. Coming number 4 is In Her Shoes. In Her Shoes stars Toni Collette, Cameron Diaz, and Shirley MacLaine. This movie, okay, let's talk about this movie. This is another movie I just watched a few days ago. I've never seen this movie, and it's really good, actually. It's very good. Don't judge a movie by its poster, because when I saw the poster, it looked like kind of like a Devil Wears Prada. No offense to Devil Wears Prada. I like that movie, but it kind of seemed like a ripoff of that. It's nothing like that. Nothing at all. This is a very dark movie, but also very heartwarming, very honest movie, and I really liked this movie. I've always said Cameron Diaz is not that great of an actress, and I do agree with that, because she doesn't do a lot of good movies. I always said her best movies are The Mask, Being John Malkovich, and Gangs of New York. But In Her Shoes is added to that list. I think, actually, performance-wise, she gives the best performance of her career in this movie. She is really freaking good. It's a very different role she plays in this movie, and she is solid in this movie. Yeah, she comes off very unlikable in the first act, but when she meets her grandmother and stuff, she becomes a more interesting, more fleshed out, likable character, and I really liked her performance in this movie. Same with Toni Collette. Toni Collette's great and everything, and she's solid. So, same with Shirley MacLaine. Those are great actresses, so of course they were great. But Cameron Diaz really shocked me in this movie. She gave a really good performance, and the drama in this movie really works. The romance was really good between Toni Collette and her co-worker. It's a very cute romance, and again, the acting in this movie is just top-notch. I really like this movie. I'm glad I watched it. It always looked like a stupid movie. I never gave this movie a watch. I finally did, and I could definitely recommend it. Number 3 is 8 Mile. Yes, 8 Mile. Yes, about the rapper Eminem, sort of loosely, because he's actually not called Marshall Mathers in this movie, but he's in the movie alongside with Kim Basinger, Mekhi Phifer, Brittany Murphy, Michael Shannon. This movie is great. It's about a rapper who's in Detroit. He lives on a trailer park, and he's basically trying to make himself big in the hip-hop industry and stuff, and he's dealing with other things, like his mom marrying some dickhead or something, played by Michael Shannon. This movie is really good. It's better than, like, Notorious and Get Rich or Die Trying. It's not as good. Straight Outta Compton's a little better, but this movie is a very well-acted movie. Eminem actually does a very good job, and it does show the realism of the streets of Detroit, and it's really good. It's got some catchy songs, a really good soundtrack, and it's just a very good movie. 8 Mile is a movie that could have been like a huge miss, like Get Rich or Die Trying, because that movie Hollywoodized 50 Cent's story. this one actually feels like a more real story, and it feels like a real movie, and that's why I really like it. Coming number 2 is The Bedroom Window. The Bedroom Window stars Steve Guttenberg, and this movie, again, a really solid movie. I actually just watched this movie the other day, and I freaking loved it. Basically, it's about... Be careful what you see, because it's basically about a guy. It's about a guy who's having an affair with his boss's wife, and when she's over one night, she witnesses a brutal attack outside the apartment, but he's the one that reports it to the police, and he says he witnessed it. And then one thing leads to another, then there's murders happening, and then he can't give a positive ID on the killer because he's not the one who actually saw the killer, and then the cops start thinking that he himself is the killer and stuff, because all these murders were happening, and they're all connected. They're all connecting to the main character played by Steve Guttenberg, and this movie is really freaking solid. I thought this movie would be like a by-the-book psychological thriller, but actually, there was a lot of tension in this movie, a lot of great direction, a lot of good atmosphere. It had a pretty gripping score, too. I really like this movie. This was a very solid movie and a very entertaining movie, and I'm glad I gave this movie a watch. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's a great movie. Give it a watch. And my number 1 favorite Curtis Hanson movie is, of course, the most obvious answer, but the right answer. LA Confidential. Yes, one of the greatest cop movies out there. It's so good. It's about Los Angeles in the 1950s and the LAPD investigating these murders. This movie stars a huge cast, and they're all fantastic. It has Kevin Spacey, Russell Crowe, Kim Basinger, Guy Pearce, James Cornwell, Danny DeVito, just a shit ton of people. And this movie is amazing. The soundtrack, the score, the direction, the writing, the editing, the costume design, the production design, everything about this movie is fantastic. I love these characters. Bud White is great. My favorite is Hollywood Jack, played by Kevin Spacey. There's great action scenes. There's great romance, great drama. There's even some comedic elements to it. It is a fantastic movie. I freaking love LA Confidential. I still think it is one of the greatest cop movies out there, and I just love everything about this movie. So, of course, this is my number 1 favorite Curtis Hanson movie. So yeah, that was my ranking of Curtis Hanson's movies from my least favorite to my favorite. So in the comment section below, please tell me, did you agree with this ranking? If not, give me your ranking of all his movies from your least favorite to your favorite. Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.